Global hotel prices are increasing for the first time since 2007, according to the latest Hotels.com Hotel Price Index. It found average room rates were up 2% in the second quarter of 2010. They're still at 6-year lows. Lisa Crefeld asked Johan Svanstrom about price trends in recent years.
Over the last couple of years, we went through a real peak and then a real sort of valley down in the global financial crisis. This quarter two of 2010, we really just came back to the levels that we saw a year ago, or barely above it from a global perspective, 2% up. It is the first time on a quarter by quarter or quarter over quarter basis since 2007 that we saw an increase.
Hotel rooms were cheaper in 2009 than in 2004. Even if the market is stabilizing, could it be on a permanently downwards trend like air tickets?
I think that's a bit a rash conclusion. I think, yes, if you look historically, it's certainly not much higher. It depends a bit on which location, but if you look at globally, we're basically back at the same levels. Now, how it's going to develop in the future, I think, again, very much comes back to the particular market that you're looking at.
The trend that we've seen in the GFC, particularly with air tickets from business class to economy, are we seeing the same trend in hotel rooms? For example, people switching from 5-star to 4-star, from luxury rooms to standard rooms, and could such a trend be permanent?
Actually, what we saw in the hotel industry, the 5 stars and the 4 stars that lost a lot of the corporate travel segment, much like the airlines did, they started discounting and enabling the people that usually stay in a 3 or 3.5 star to take those rooms. So people have actually gotten a taste for staying, more luxuriously. Now, they may not be able to, continue to do so when prices continue to go up. But there's a much smaller gap between hotel room prices and the star classes than there is between a business seat and a leisure seat or economy seat in an airplane.
How does the Australian hotel industry compare in terms of room price trends to regionally and internationally?
You have, within Asia Pacific, quite big fluctuations. It's really one region with one name, but very different markets within it. So big corporate hubs, business hubs like Singapore and Hong Kong, have seen a very radical sort of kickback because of corporate travel coming back to the market, and some good leisure activities going on in Singapore as well with the integrated resorts. But other places like India and China, largely still suffering or sort of really trying to get back on the curve, and also being hampered a bit by a fairly ferocious build-out of properties in those markets.
How much are discounting websites and the internet in general transforming the industry?
I think what the internet has done, more than just saying discounting, is making things transparent. So as opposed to just trusting what a travel agent or what a particular hotel property tells you, now you can go out and look for yourself. You can compare literally tens of thousands of different sources for basically the same product. And when you have that kind of transparency, you bet you that you can find good prices sometimes. But it also, in the end, leads to some kind of commoditization, actually.
What are your plans for Hotels.com?
We believe that the online accommodation as a service is really still just in the beginning of its true potential, particularly in Asia Pacific. The levels of online travel booking compared to the overall travel booking is probably still in the sort of 10 to 15% range. So that means it's massive opportunity up in terms of people going online. And that is just a matter of time. Again, different pace in different countries. But we're here to stay, and as a company, we're investing a lot in Asia Pacific.
How much of an issue are bad reviews for hotels? How much of an influence do they have?
I think they can have quite a lot of influence. And we've done some studies that shows at least particularly very good reviews have a absolutely statistically significant impact on conversion rates for that hotel. So when people give positive reviews and others read it, that hotel has a better chance of getting the booking. Now, what you saw in the beginning of a lot of that, the whole boom of hotel reviews, was hotels really resisting that. It's like, okay, who can say if this really is a valid review? Has this person stayed there? But look, that's the internet, right? This is going to happen, and by the law numbers, you're going to have mostly sort of correct reviews out there, and it definitely has an impact. What you've seen hotels do now, a lot of hotels are writing back, right? They are themselves posting comments to both bad and good reviews, And those hotels, whether they actually had a bad review, they are absolutely gaining the confidence of the customer.
Johan Svanstrom there with Lisa Creffield, and that's wrapping up pretty much Market Express. James Degan.